This is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell from the Kingdom of Nye.
It certainly is. I'd like to welcome everybody in because we're going to be talking about an entire, well, the title is The Time of Global Shift. That sounds pretty serious, doesn't it? With Dr. Scott Mandelker and David Wilcock. David was on most recently talking about the sun with us. You may recall that for an hour, and now we've scheduled a whole show, but this one's going to be pretty serious stuff. The Time of Global Shift, that's coming right up. Now, we have two guests coming up. Dr. Scott Mandelker has an M.A. in counseling, a Ph.D. in East-West psychology, and over 20 years' experience in Buddhism and Eastern religion. He is the author of two books, From Elsewhere in 1995 and Universal Vision in 2000. Here they are, and let's see if we can learn to recognize their voices. Dr. Scott Mandelker first.
I'm here. Thanks, Art, for having me, and us back again.
All right, now let's listen to David.
I'm right here in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
When I was looking at the sun the other day, these days I like to stare at the sun. Now, some of the listeners will wonder, what about my mental health?
How do you do that? You do that safely, I presume, or?
I do safe staring, yeah. So I look at it straight, but I mean, it doesn't,
Don't look at the sun straight. Folks, they tell people you'll go blind if you do that.
It's an old mystic practice, actually.
Is everything beginning to dim for you, Doctor, a little? Getting dimmer around the edges?
Well, it seems to be very dark outside when I look out my window.
Yeah.
Now, it could be because it's 11:30 here. Okay. When I was looking at the sun the other day, not to be recommended for listeners at home.
God, no.
I realized that the sun is a three-dimensional hole in the fabric of the material universe. If you look into the sun and that bright white light,
yes,
that's on the other side of the form-based creation.
And Art, I remember you had an experience like that in Paris, right?
An instantaneous experience, yes.
Right. Tell us what you experienced for those listeners who don't already know.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had been doing shows on OBEs for a long time, out-of-body experiences. I had never had one up to that point. Anyway, I was all off my regular schedule. I was relaxed. I was totally off my rhythm. And I was lying in bed, and all of a sudden, without notice, and I mean without notice, without wishing for it, thinking about it, without any of the humming or buzzing that people talk about, instantaneously, I was far above the city of Paris, looking down. I could see the city of Paris, but believe me, that's not what I was concentrating on. That was almost in my peripheral vision. I was in this place where I had so much overwhelming joy, and there are not words to describe the intensity of this. It was so intense, totally joyful, and then it shocked me so badly that the next instant, boom, I was back in my body.
There are not so many sources speaking of a date. The Mayans, however, did talk about the date, or the Mayan calendar, can be understood as projecting the end of this world cycle at the winter solstice of the year 2012. When we look at other sources of prophecy, mainly we find them in the channeled community, ET channeling. But we see many sources, or many people claiming to make channeled transmissions, also talking about the time period 2010 to 2013 as this time of what could be called harvest or ascension.
On the other side of this, 2012, 2013, 2014, whenever we get to the other side, what kind of world will we have?
It's not too far away. The quick answer is heaven on earth. If you read some science fiction books, they give one indication of this. There was a book, Dreams of the Future. One of the dreams was sort of the pastoral, idyllic, lush green earth. One of them was the high-tech UFOs flying all over the cities, everybody in harmony in crystal buildings vision. One of them was sort of the disaster, Escape from New York vision.
I think it's absolutely logical that if we survive long enough, if mankind survives, there will be time travel. There may be time travel now. And so therefore there is time travel now, assuming that some small percentage of humans survive. Eventually time travel will be a reality, which means it is now, which also opens the possibility of the following. The manipulation of timelines for specific reasons, ET or human. Now, I've been running into a lot of people lately, people having memories, not very strong memories, but memories of things the way they are not now. In other words, as an example, the Germans won World War II. As an example, Mandela died in jail, didn't become free to run South Africa, or I could go on and on and on. Historical things that people remember happened in a very different way, but they remember it not as a surface memory, but as a nagging memory. You know, damn it, it didn't happen that way. I remember it some other way. So if somebody is out there toying with events in time for some manipulative reason, we would expect to find what we're getting.
What happens is you make a free will choice of whether you're going to go into this or not. Now, if you choose not to go into it, and let's say that you did happen to go through an area where you didn't get hit by the solar flare,
right,
then you're going to have to contend with the Mad Max type of stuff that'll happen as the third density is clearing out.
Gentlemen, thank you both for an intriguing program, to say the least.
Yeah, thank you very much, Art.
Thank you, Art, and good night.
Yes, and good night to you, too. All right, folks, that's it for this night. A lot to think about. If you were listening closely, a very, very great deal to chew on mentally. Really been something. It's really going to be quite a week this week. But for tonight, that's it. We are out of linear time. I'm Art Bell from the High Desert. Ta-ta.